What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. When it comes to carrying games, going 2-0 in lane often just isn't enough, especially if your teammates feed really hard. What you need to do to get that edge is to stomp your lane and snowball. Let's get started. Now when it comes to snowballing your lane, it's all about using an advantage to gain more advantages. So let's assume you're already ahead. What you need to do is snowball and stomp your lane opponent so you can be on your way to easily carrying. Now, it kind of goes without saying, but the first and most important thing is to not let your opponent catch up. If you're already ahead in lane, it's likely that you will be ganked, especially if the rest of your team is losing, as those opponents who are winning will try to gank you to help out their losing teammate. So you need to avoid ganks by buying wards and paying attention to the location of the enemies. But when it comes to facing your actual lane opponent, they might try to catch up too, so how easy it is for you to snowball depends on how big your current advantage is. The bigger the advantage you already have, the easier it is to snowball. However, in general, to snowball and extend your lead, you need to find ways to pick fights. Initiate onto them if they get too close, and just play hyper aggressive when you know you won't get ganked. Understand your kill potential and be creative with your fights. Try bush ganks or tower dives if you're tanky, or fake like you're weak and wait for them to overextend. A big part of being stomped and snowballed on in lane is misunderstanding the opponent's power, so you should try to keep how powerful you are a mystery until you go in for a fight, especially after a major purchase or power spike. Also note that when it comes to snowballing, it's okay for your build to be more damage heavy, and it can actually be really powerful if you're ahead. Just make sure that you don't tower dive if you aren't building tanky. Now those are some general tips, but if you have only a small advantage such as 2 kills or less, you actually will want to pick your fights carefully and still wait for a decent situation before initiating. Your opponent can still outplay you as your advantage is not big enough yet. Just try to set up plays and think things like, oh, if he goes past this point I will initiate onto him, or if he does this I'll initiate onto him, things like that. You have more freedom, so you don't need a perfect fight, but you still cannot afford to pick bad fights. At least, not yet. When you have a significant advantage, such as 4 kills or more, this is when things get pretty easy. At this point, you should be able to absolutely crush your opponent. If they even so much as step into lane, you can initiate onto them. If they do anything that puts them in range of your abilities, it should be an easy kill. Your opponent should be denied almost completely, unless they don't respect your power, in which case it should be easy to go in on them. In addition to snowballing your lane, you can also roam and make plays in other lanes to help your teammates, or try invades with your jungler. Especially if it's in the early game, the opponents will probably be unsuspecting. That or they might underestimate you since they don't realize how far ahead you are until it's too late. Flank your opponents and set up for some easy kills. But this can be a little bit risky, as if your roams are unsuccessful, it can give your lane opponent a chance to catch up. In general, when it comes to snowballing a lane, it's all about pushing constant aggression and forcing plays. You already have an advantage, so use it. And as long as you don't pick absolutely terrible fights, it should be relatively easy. Just be aware of power spikes from items or skills or things like that from your opponent, as they may try to make a play on you to come back if they get a bit stronger somehow. Then, use that lane advantage to roam freely and transition into snowballing the game. And I think that just about covers it. My name is Jeremy and that's it for my video on snowballing a lane. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to check out some of my others on the screen right now, or stay connected at facebook.com/gamingcurios. Drop a like and make sure to subscribe for some more awesome content in the future. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.